Something extraordinary just happened in archaeology and nobody's talking about it. For over a century, we've had thousands of ancient Sumerian clay tablets sitting in museums completely untranslated. But in 2024, everything changed. Artificial intelligence cracked the code. Let's get into it. Body cuneiform is the oldest known writing system on Earth. Created by the Sumerians around 3400 BC in what is now Iraq, it uses wedge-shaped marks pressed into wet clay. For modern scholars, it's been a nightmare to translate. The symbols change meaning depending on context. The grammar doesn't match any modern language, and most tablets are broken into fragments scattered across different museums in different countries. For decades, archaeologists could only translate small pieces, never connecting them into a coherent whole. That changed in 2024 when researchers at universities in Oxford and Munich released AI models trained on every known cuneiform inscription. These weren't simple translation programs. These were neural networks that could identify missing symbols, predict broken text, cross-reference different dialects, and compare thousands of tablets simultaneously. Suddenly, fragments that had been silent for 4,000 years started making sense. Tablets that scholars had dismissed as too damaged became readable. And when researchers started putting the pieces together, what emerged wasn't just poetry or religious mythology. It was detailed records, administrative documents, historical accounts, and the story they told was nothing like what anyone expected. The newly translated texts describe the rise of the world's first true civilization in stunning detail. The Sumerians didn't just invent writing, they invented the wheel, irrigation systems, the concept of time divided into 60-second minutes, complex mathematics, astronomy, and the first law codes. But here's what's truly shocking. The tablets reveal that Sumerian society was brutally hierarchical from the very beginning. Not gradually, not over time, from day one. The texts describe a rigid class system with specific groups assigned to specific roles before they were even born. Some were designated as priests and scribes who learned reading and astronomy. Others were classified as laborers who worked the fields and dug canals. A third group were craftsmen and builders, and these weren't just job descriptions. These were permanent assignments that ran in family lines for generations. One set of tablets describes what researchers are calling the clay division. Different groups of people assigned different tasks based on which temple district they were created to serve. The word used translates roughly to purpose-made or function assigned. This wasn't slavery in the traditional sense. It was something more systematic. People were born into roles, and the entire social structure was designed to keep them there. The tablets even describe physical characteristics associated with different groups. Those who worked in the sun were described as dark like baked earth. Those who worked indoors with metals and precious materials were called pale like moon clay. River workers were described differently than mountain laborers. Here's where it gets even stranger. For years, scholars assumed Sumerian gods were purely mythological, divine beings who controlled the cosmos. But the AI translations reveal something different. Many of the so-called gods were actually titles and positions held by real rulers. Enki wasn't just the god of wisdom. He was the title given to the administrator who controlled water resources and agricultural knowledge. Enlil wasn't just the storm god. He was the military commander who enforced order. Inanna wasn't just the goddess of love. She was the authority over trade and economics. The tablets describe these figures making very human decisions. They argue about resource allocation. They compete for power. They create laws and punish those who break them. One newly translated administrative text describes Enki ordering the construction of a new irrigation system and assigning specific worker groups to dig specific sections. Another describes Enlil conducting what sounds like a census counting people by category and function. These aren't myths. These are bureaucratic records, and they reveal that ancient Sumerian society was far more organized and controlled than anyone imagined. The tablets also reveal technological knowledge that shouldn't have existed. Detailed astronomical charts tracking planetary movements with incredible precision, mathematical calculations that wouldn't be replicated for thousands of years, metallurgical techniques for creating bronze alloys that modern scientists struggle to reproduce, medical texts describing surgical procedures and herbal remedies. The Sumerians had libraries, they had schools, they had what one researcher called the world's first research institutions, where knowledge was systematically gathered and preserved. But here's the mystery. Much of this knowledge disappeared, not gradually, but suddenly. Multiple tablets reference the Great Washing or the Rising Water that destroyed cities and wiped out huge portions of the population. Archaeologists have found evidence of massive flooding in ancient Mesopotamia around 2900 BC. But what the tablets reveal is that the flood didn't just destroy buildings, it destroyed knowledge. The texts describe entire libraries being swept away, generations of astronomical records lost, craftsmen with specialized skills dying before they could pass on their techniques. Some researchers now believe that the flood set human civilization back by centuries. The knowledge had to be slowly rebuilt from fragments and memory. The most disturbing revelation is how deeply embedded these ancient divisions became. The tablets describe children being assigned to the same roles as their parents and grandparents. Educational access was strictly controlled. Only certain families could learn to read and write. Only certain groups could study the stars or learn advanced mathematics. The system was designed to perpetuate itself, and it worked. For over 1,000 years, Sumerian society maintained these rigid divisions. Even after the Sumerian civilization fell, the structure didn't disappear. It spread. The Akkadians adopted it. The Babylonians refined it. The Assyrians enforced it. By the time these ideas reached Egypt, Greece, and Rome, the concept of dividing people by birth into permanent social classes was so normalized that nobody questioned it. The tablets reveal that what we call the caste system, feudalism, and hereditary nobility didn't emerge independently across different cultures. They all trace back to this original Sumerian model, a system designed 4,000 years ago to organize labor and maintain control. You might be thinking, what does any of this have to do with us now? Everything. Because the AI translations reveal that the ideas we inherited about social hierarchy, about some people being born to lead and others to follow, about intelligence and capability being hereditary, all of that traces back to administrative decisions made in ancient Mesopotamia. These weren't natural laws. They weren't divine mandates. They were organizational choices made by people who wanted to control resources and maintain power. And those choices became so deeply embedded in human civilization that we're still living with their consequences. The tablets also reveal something else: resistance. Not every group accepted their assigned role. Multiple texts describe people who refused their classifications, workers who learned to read in secret, farmers who studied the stars, laborers who created their own systems of knowledge outside the official channels. The texts describe these people as troublemakers and rebels, but they also reveal that this resistance never stopped. Every generation had people who rejected the system, and slowly, over thousands of years, their resistance chipped away at the structure until it finally began to crumble. The real breakthrough isn't just what we learned about ancient Sumner. It's what this technology makes possible going forward. There are an estimated 500,000 cuneiform tablets still untranslated sitting in museums and storage facilities around the world. Most are damaged or fragmentary. Before AI, it would have taken centuries to translate them all. Now it might take decades, and each new translation reveals more about how early civilizations organized themselves, more about what knowledge they possessed, more about how systems of control were created and maintained. But there's also a warning here. The tablets reveal that knowledge has always been a tool of power. Those who controlled information controlled society. The Sumerian priests didn't just worship gods, they controlled access to writing, mathematics, and astronomy. That control gave them authority over everyone else. Today we live in an age of unprecedented information access, but we also live in an age where AI systems are increasingly controlling what information we see, how we see it, and who gets to benefit from it. The parallels are uncomfortable.